Max and GP because they're quite used to this kind of relationship, and by tomorrow I'm sure they'll be over it. But between Max and his team, the post-race interviews, Max was talking about, he's being very openly critical about Red Bull's strategy and operations. And by the way, much of that I agreed with. It was a rare occasion when Red Bull got quite a few things wrong. They got their strategy calls wrong. I'm sure they will agree once they've reviewed the race. Being undercut twice by Lewis Hamilton on a circuit where the undercut is powerful. They didn't have the fastest pit stops today. In fact, nobody had particularly fast pit stops today. I think they just got one or two things wrong. They got the setup of the car potentially wrong. The car was very much understeery today. That's a situation that Max really doesn't like to contend with. His tyres were overheating because he found himself in traffic. But ultimately, it's all about the fact that his car hasn't been developed in the same sort of efficient way that the likes of McLaren have. They brought a big update to this racetrack, but it hasn't been bringing them anywhere near enough performance if you compare it to what McLaren have been doing. Max is getting frustrated. And if we extrapolate that out into the bigger picture, yes, the Constructors' Championship is very much in contention. And I would say, as I said a moment ago, you could even argue that McLaren could be favourites over the course of this season with two drivers at the front. Not only does that affect the Constructors' Championship, but in the Drivers' Championship, although it's still maybe a long shot for Lando Norris to mount a real serious challenge, it's not out of the question. And part of the reason for that is Max is fighting on his own. As the season rolls on, McLaren will be able to use both of their drivers in a sort of two-pincer movement against the single car of Verstappen, because Perez is just not able at the moment to fight on the same level.